You're listening to Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes, the podcast where whiskey, cigars, and beard products aren't just a hobby, they're a lifestyle. Hosted by Adam, Paul, and Jerry, three guys with real experience, full beards, and even fuller glasses. Each episode serves up thoughtful tastings, laid-back cigar talk, and honest takes on beard gear and beyond. From top-shelf pours to everyday essentials, this is the place where conversations flow as smooth as the whiskey. So, pour a glass, light one up, and enjoy the ride. This is Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes.
Welcome to Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Paul.
And obviously Adam is out today, but we're doing a little blind that Paul sent out, a 4-sample blind that Paul sent out, and Adam sent in his notes, so we have those with us. So you have all three of us in spirit, I guess you would say. Paul, you kind of want to talk about the blind without giving anything away?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had talked about doing some blinds, and thought it'd be fun to do on the show. So I was standing in a Virginia ABC and saw a bottle and saw another one right next to it. And I was like, okay, there. And I saw a third, and I was like, all right. And I kind of got an idea, and I was looking around, found a fourth, and I'm like, okay, I got a theme now. I can grab these 4 bottles and send the guys some blind samples and see what they think, see if they can guess it. When I was picking these bottles, when I grabbed them, I thought for sure at least one of you guys would be able to, pinpoint the theme at least, if not the brands or whatever. Because I thought for sure I would be able to. And I poured up samples, sent the guys 2 1-ounce samples of each one so they could, pre-taste them, take some notes down, and then taste them right now while we're recording. And so I did my pre-tasting the other night to get my notes down on them. Obviously I know what they are. And there's no fucking way I would be able to pick this out.
No, I've been trying to figure it out all morning.
I thought for sure that this would be like, oh, okay, I'm going to get some notes off of this, and somebody will get it, and it's going to be, no, there's no way. I was telling Jerry before we started, I got one note off of sample B that's very familiar to me, and I tried to convince myself that I would be able to pinpoint that and tell what bourbon that was or what whiskey that was. But I'm lying to myself. There's no fucking way I would have guessed this. These are tough. They're very similar but different.
Yes.
It'll be a fun one. I think you'll be kind of surprised at what it is.
It was definitely fun drinking through them. I'll say 2 of them were very similar. It was that B and C were very similar to me on the nose and palate. And then A and D were the outliers. So you had 3 different profiles to me. I guess we could get into it. For me, A on the nose was a little bit lighter, but it came off with a nice sweet cinnamon note, like a cherry strawberry note, and then there was a light citrus there towards the end on the nose for me. And then the palate turned into that citrus note, or the cinnamon note came through with some nice spice. There's still a little bit of that fruitiness, and then just some classic bourbon notes like the cinnamon, vanillas, caramels. Nothing really stood out, but it was a great pour. I don't really think we should go into the rankings yet. And then if you just heard some wind, we have some windstorm going on right now. And
yeah, that's the first time I did hear it. It sounded kind of cool. It actually sounded like a sound effect. It sounded kind of cool. It came through.
So we got that going. It feels nice, but it's windy. But yeah, we'll go through these, say our notes, and then go through at the end and say the ranking, and then we could either guess or Paul could tell us what the pours are. Because honestly, I've been trying to figure this theme out, and I haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah, so for me, I can tell you now that you've already done your rankings. It's not going to influence or anything. It's a go-to. It's a staple in my.
That's what I. Like I said, a classic.
Yep.
And then my thoughts, I had the proof that I thought, what I was originally thinking, and just classic.
Yep. And so, I mean, this to me, it's just, traditional bourbon notes. I do say that when I actually sat down and thought about wrote down my tasting notes the other night, I was getting some like almond and bready notes, which I don't really think I really acknowledge when I drink this, or have acknowledged when I've drank this in the past. But yeah, they were coming out to me a little bit. I was getting a little bit almond on the finish, and I don't really remember acknowledging that note the 1,000 times that I've drank this bourbon before. But yeah, no, this is a great one. Like I said, I always have a bottle of this in the cabinet. Adam did. He's not able to be here. He's got some family stuff he's taking care of right now. But he sent us notes, and his notes for A was on the nose. He got citrus and root beer candy, which I would love to find. I'm not really finding the root beer candy. That sounds awesome to me. But on the palate, he got caramel, butterscotch, and red fruit, and that's
classic.
Yeah, classic. Bourbon notes, and that's pretty much what I got. I wrote down vanilla, oak, bready, pepper, and almond were my notes that I wrote down the other night. So,
looking at my notes now for the finish on this one, I had a peanut earthiness, which I guess would go with almond or any type of other nuttiness or funkiness you want to talk about. It's a good pour. Nothing, like I said earlier, nothing crazy. Solid. I would assume go to. We other than Paul, me and Adam, but don't know the price or anything like that or the availability on it. So,
yep, we'll get into that. We'll get into that with the reveal. But you got to guess
definitely a solid everyday taste. Like,
you got to guess on proof.
I originally had I said 86. Is it 86?
Nope.
Is it anywhere close to that?
It's 14 points away from 86.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, I did that too. I tried to like I said, I know what they are. I got the bottles labeled in front of me when I did the tasting, but I tried to put myself in the let's not be influenced by it. And if I had to guess this blind, I would have said like 90. So I would have undershot the proof as well. I think it drinks below the proof.
See, I said 86 to 90, or 85 to 90, and I just kind of started thinking
100 proofer.
Originally, I had sub 100, and then I kind of nailed it down to like that 85 to 90.
And I think I know, for me at least, I know why it drinks under proof, because I'm always flawed when guessing this certain kind of whiskey. I always underproof it in blind. So we'll get into that in a minute. But let's move on to B.
So for me, no wrong way. B.
For me, with all things revealed, which we'll get into, B's the winner for me. So I won't give much away, but B doesn't taste the best for me, but with all things revealed, B is my winner if I was a frugal man, which I am.
So for me on the nose, I tried this on Monday or Tuesday, and then this afternoon before recording. Both times I got like this dried herbaliness to it. And if you guys remember a couple weeks ago when we had Bane Blends on, I had to see if I had his oil on, because that's the same scent I got, that same herbal, which was weird, but it dissipated real quick. And then just became like a nice earthy, grassy, vanilla caramel bomb, basically, on the nose. And then now I'm smelling it. I don't know if it's just being outside the cigar I'm smoking, but I get like a lemon lime note to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I get that citrus too. Adam's notes for B was on the nose, slightly floral, savory, bubblegum. And that's the note that I was talking about before. I get bubblegum on the palate big time on this one. And that's where I try to convince myself, I got the bubblegum. I'd be able to pick this in blind, but I'm fucking lying to myself if I say that. But he also on the palate got bubblegum, candy, and bread. For me, my notes I wrote down were honey, vanilla, caramel, citrus, bubblegum, and grape and cherry. I get some kind of weird bubblegummy fruitiness, and I can't put my finger on it. It's almost like a fruit stripe gum where it's not a real fruit flavor, but your brain tricks you into thinking it's fruit because you ate some weird-ass candy chemical when you were a kid.
Yep.
Um,
I had the
but-
same thing. I said some kind of fruitiness, almost like strawberry, but not.
Yeah. Some manufactured chemical fruit flavor has a color, and so we associate it with fruit, but it actually tastes nothing like fruit.
And then I also like it's that fruity sweetness, that fake fruity sweetness. And then I put rye grain. I was getting like not the rye spice or like the rye flavor. If you've ever like actually taken a grain of rye and chewed on it or anything like that, that's what I was just like. It's earthy, almost floral, like I guess breadiness, like you guys were saying. So.
Which is awesome because I kind of get that ready note too, but there's 0% rye in this. So that's awesome that you get that because it just speaks to how well developed this is and how many flavors are in it that we're pulling out these floral notes and stuff and there's no rye, which is why I really like this bottle. Guess on the proof on this?
I said 105.
Damn close. I also agree. I would have put this between 100 and 110. I put in my notes, and it is 110.
Is it? All right.
Yep. Because this one drinks close to proof in my mind, not like the first one does. So let's.
It's definitely higher. Well, feels higher proof than that first one.
Yeah. You get a little bit of punch on the palate. I mean, it's only 110, but you going from that one that kind of drank 85, 90. When it was really 100 going to this one, you're stepping up the proof punch a little bit. So let's get into C. C for me was, well, we'll get into the rankings at the end, but I'll say C for me was the best tasting. This was on just a straight up flavor profile. C was my winner.
For me, C was second, but not far behind. In tasting.
Yeah, and I could be biased as well because I know what the bottles are. So I got to keep throwing that out there that when I wrote my notes, I tried to be unbiased. And when I picked my picks, I know the prices, I know the notes, I know, the bottles and all that. So try to be as unbiased as I can, but I could be biased by saying that. So what do you get? Let's see.
Earlier, when I said B and C were similar to me, how B was more of like an herbally note. This one still has that dried herb spices, but it's more of like when Adam says he like that meat sauce. I don't get it often out of notes. I think I've only gotten it once or twice. This one I got, it was almost like I was standing over like me making spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce or something like that. But then you let it sit there for a minute and then it just became a butterscotch bomb on the nose.
Adam's notes for C were very similar to B, with citrus added, like an orange cake.
Orange cake.
Which I got to go into this note. I mean, I get some citrus on there. I don't know about the orange cake on the nose. I also, admittedly, have a cigar burning in front of me and my spot cooler on full blast because it's unseasonably hot right now, and I have to cool the shed down so that I don't start sweating. So I got a lot of air movement, so nosing for me is a little bit right now. But his palate on C, he got rye bread, earthy must, and candy.
For me, it's like a dark malty note to it. Like dark, not like coffee or chocolate or anything like that. Just like that bready note, just dark. I don't want to say fruits, but just darker notes. The finish definitely had like that candy sweetness for me on it. The palate I couldn't figure it out because when I think of dark maltiness, it's usually like coffee, mocha, caramel top, something like that. But I wasn't really getting any of that. It's just like, I don't know. I haven't been able to put my finger on it. Tastes fantastic though.
Yeah, this one I wrote down the other night when I tasted through these. I wrote cinnamon, caramel, oak, and I got some almond on the finish again. Which I also got on A, which was unexpected. But then I also wrote good as a tasting note because I really like this one, and I have to admit, tasting it again, it's very, very good. What do you think the proof on this one is?
From what I have written down, I think it's higher than what I have written down. I don't know if it's being outside with the cigar or not. But I'm gonna say 110.
This is 100.
Oh, sure. All right. Originally, I had 95.
There you go. I think this one as well drinks. I wrote 105 to 110 in my notes the other night, even though I knew what it was. I think this one drinks slightly above the proof. It's got a little spice on it.
Yeah.
That I can see, you getting a little bit higher proof. Let's move into the final one, D. And as I told you before, I poured myself samples of these when I sent you guys samples. I could not find the D samples, and I had just a splash left in this bottle because I really liked this one, and I thought I had samples, so I just indulged and drank this bottle, over the last couple months since I sent it. So I only have the tiniest little splash to taste off of this. So I'm doing a bottle kill on D.
So what hit me hard the other day when I was trying it on the nose, I got like a banana Laffy Taffy was on the nose, and then there was like a little bit of slight, like a black licorice style note, and then just finished with like a nice bright fruity sweetness on the nose. So you started that sweet, almost like grainy banana Laffy Taffy style into that bitterness, and then finished off sweet. The palate was more of that like Laffy Taffy style notes. Nice sweet spice to it, like a sweet cinnamon. The finish, that little bit of that tannic bitterness was a slight wave, and then more sweetness came through. And honestly, I don't know if it's just me thinking to myself, but I don't know if you eat Laffy Taffy, but that feeling in your mouth, like that fake coating that they put on it, that's what I get on the like the mouth feel. It feels like it's just like coated. This one I liked a lot.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. As I just said, I finished the bottle since I sent you guys these samples. My notes were nutty, raspberry, cinnamon, caramel, oak, and then I underlined raspberry and cinnamon. So
there's
I really get that fruity, spicy cinnamon on the palate. Really like this one a lot. Adam's notes were on the nose. He got leather, citrus, brown sugar on the palate. He got heavy leather, oak, brown sugar, and slight cinnamon. So I think we're all pulling that cinnamon out. He didn't mention anything about any kind of fruity notes, but I think me and you both got those kind of fruity notes. I said raspberry. I think you would.
Like a banana.
Yeah, like a banana. So there's some fruitiness in there. I really like this one. What do you think the proof is on this one?
I'm going to say 105.
Pretty damn spot on. It's 108. And I said this one drinks about 100. So,
yeah, I was going back and forth whether it was 100, and I just got a little bit of that punchiness from that like the cinnamon baking spices that was kicking it, or if that was actually the proof hit.
Yep.
But
so all of these are between 100 and 110. They're all between $20 and $60 a bottle. So they're all price performers. It's a brand you know, brand you love. You got any guesses on style, brand, type, anything?
No. I will say so on A, when I first tried it, I initially thought it was Old Forester 86, but then I went back to it and I realized it wasn't. And then originally, so like I said, I had sub 100 proof, and I said 85 to 90, and then the next one I tried, and I was like, well, maybe that's 100 proof. Maybe he's doing like a 100 proof bottle and bond or something like that. And after going through it again, I erased all that, and like I said, I have no idea. I will say, let me see, the nose. I think D was my favorite on the nose. No.
Oh, so yeah, let's get into that. I almost revealed. I want to see what your ranking was, and I'll tell Adams and my ranking as well.
So C on the nose got C and for me, C and D were neck and neck for the most part. I had C on the nose, followed by D, and then B and A. And in the palate, I went D, B, C, A. So overall, my favorite was D. Second place was a toss-up between B and C, and then A came in last. And then, honestly, these could all be mixed up. If A was a $20 bottle versus whatever, that could shoot it up. But yeah, I'd love to have any of these on the shelf. If I don't,
So A is a $20 bottle. So I will get into what Adam's rankings were. He said CBDA. So he's pretty close to yours on the palate. My is also exactly like Adam's, CBDA. I did say, knowing what they are, I would probably put B over C, and that's just a price thing. So I'll get into this reveal, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Are these all available for the most part?
A, B, and C are available. At least in Maryland, they're on every shelf in every store. D, I'll talk about it. It should be available in most areas, but it is I use air quotes, single barrel release. But there were 30,000 bottles released. That's a lot of fucking single barrel releases. So it's not really a true single barrel, even though it says that on the damn label. 30,000 bottles is what? At least if you get 200 bottles in the barrel, 150 barrels minimum. So not really a single barrel. I would say more of a small batch for a big distillery. But they call it a single barrel. So I bought these in Virginia at the ABCs in Virginia. So I have not seen D in Maryland. I will throw that out there. So you probably have seen D in Florida because you're a control state, and I think that's where they all went.
Florida's not a control state, but we have ABC, which
you have the ABCs, yeah.
They do, which it's the family-owned ABC, not like the Virginia ABC.
Right.
So they do their best to kind of do the control state without being a control state.
Mm-hmm. So for the big reveal, you can thank Mr. John Rempe for all of these bourbons. They're all the same brand. They're all the same label, essentially. And A, Rebel 100. So these are all wheated mash bills. Believe, I should have looked this up. I think it's 68-20-12, with 20% being the wheat. No rye is the Rebel mash bill. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So this is the Rebel 100, 100 proof, wheated bourbon.
Solid.
$20. I mean,
yeah.
You can find it anywhere for $20. That's what I was saying. I have this on my shelf at all times, which is funny. I say that because the other night when I went to do these samples, I told you I couldn't find the D samples. I couldn't find the A samples either because I know I didn't pour myself A samples because I always have this bottle, and I didn't have the bottle. I had run out making old fashions with this. I had to go out a couple days ago and buy me another bottle, a Rebel 100. But it's one that I always like to have because 100 proof is great. Like I said, you can make an old fashioned, stands up. You can drink it straight. It's got a great flavor note, palate on it. It's $20. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's cheaper than most big name, big brand flagships like Jack Daniel's and Jim Beam off the shelf. So it's a great one. Moving into B. B, I could not find the bottle, so I can't hold it up for you, Jerry. But B was the Rebel Small Batch 110 proof, which is a shelfer at $35. And that's why I said B was probably the one that I would buy out of these four, even though it came in second on the palate for me. It's $35, and so
is that the new Rebel Reserve small batch?
Yeah,
new compared to what we had on the other week.
Yeah. It's not the old one that we had on the other week. It's the new Rebel, small batch at 110 proof, $35. Should be able to find it everywhere. I see it everywhere around me.
I went looking today because we talked about that side by side the other week, and I figured we could do that too. And I looked and couldn't find them.
Well, hopefully, I believe it's supposed to be a shelfer, so
Yeah,
hopefully it's going to be rolling out to everybody. That one is the one that I get the bubblegum flavor off of that I always associate with wheated bourbons. So that's the one that I was trying to trick myself into thinking, oh, I got the bubblegum. I'm going to know this is a wheated if I did this in the blind. But who am I fucking kidding? I probably wouldn't have.
It's making sense now. All those sweet cinnamon notes and sweet spices that I was getting usually comes across with the younger wheaters.
Uh-huh.
Makes sense.
So we're getting into C. This C is the one I think we liked a lot, and good reason why, because it is the Rebel 100 again, but it is the sixth year Rebel 100, which is about a $60 bottle. This one I like the most as far as just taste, but almost twice as much as the Rebel small batch. I mean, for $70 I can get 2 bottles of that 110 small batch, or for $60 I can get that 1 bottle. So I mean, that's why I was kind of knowing what they were. I was kind of torn on my ranking because I would definitely get 2 bottles of the small batch over the 6 year, which the 6 year is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but we're talking about 2 bottles versus 1. I mean, make it make sense. So that one leads us to the final one, which is the one I just bottle killed. And this is the Rebel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Single Barrel, selected by NASCAR driver Kyle Busch. So this is a single barrel. I thought it was just a Virginia release until I started looking into it the other night when I tasted it, and that's where I found out that it was a 30,000 bottle release, which is really not a single barrel. So when I bought this, I thought it was a single barrel because it says it on there, but it's really not. It's a batch, or not a batch. It's who knows what it is, to be honest. It could be 150 different single barrels. It could be a batch. I don't know. It says that Kyle Busch, along with John Rempe, had a hand in selecting each barrel for this. So I don't know if Kyle Busch went.
My guess is it's kind of like how I think they're still doing Eagle Rare, how they do their single barrels. It's basically you pull a barrel off, you dump it, whatever's left, you kind of do whatever you do with that. And if you don't have a full bottle, and then you dump the next barrel. So technically they are single barrels, but they're all under the same label.
Yeah, because I don't think Kyle Busch went to Luxrow and tasted 150 to 200 barrels of whiskey and picked all of them. I'm assuming they probably gave him some samples. He tasted to his profile, and they selected barrels to his profile of what he likes. Is what
I'd imagine I don't know. He could do kind of like what they do for most people, bring out 3-4 barrels or however many they want from different areas. And then he selected one of them, and then they just selected however many 200 barrels from that lot in that area.
Yeah. So I don't know if they were all batched. I don't know if I went and got another. I mean, this was barrel filled on May 10th, 2020, and it's barrel number 336506. So I don't know if I had a different barrel, then it would taste different, or if these were batched or what. I mean, they're not really transparent. Who knows if Kyle Busch even drinks or even tasted this whiskey? I mean, who knows? But it's got a cool label. I like that. It's a black label, Rebel.
It's a cool label.
Yeah,
with that maroon or whatever on it.
Yep. And it says on the bottle that Rebel is the official bourbon of Richard Childress Racing. So they got a partnership somehow with NASCAR, with Richard Childress Racing and Kyle Busch. It's a damn good bottle. I mean, whatever it is, whether they batched it, they blended it, whatever single barrel that I grabbed, I'm not hating on it. It's damn good, and it's $50. It's cheaper than the 6 year. So,
what was the 6 year?
Price wise,
yeah,
$60. Yeah, I think so. The A was $20. B was a small batch was $35. C was the 6 year at $60, and the single barrel was, I think it was $49.99 is what I paid for it. So, mean, you can't go wrong with any of these. I mean, let's be honest. For like
No.
$150, less than $150, you can buy all 4 of these bottles. I mean, and all of them are great, even down to the Rebel 100, which is just a fantastic 100-proof wheated bourbon for $20. I mean, can't go wrong. So I thought this would be a cool little. I saw the Rebel 100 and the 60 are sitting next to each other, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to try them side by side, because the Rebel 100's probably, they don't age state it, but probably 3 years, something like that. And the 60, let's see what they taste. And then I was walking to the end of the aisle, and they had an end cap with the single barrels, quote unquote. And I was like, okay, well, this is pretty similar proof. And then the small batch was right there, and I'm like, all right, now we got a blind tasting. We got 4 bottles here, all within 10 proof points, all same mash bill, all same distiller. Let's see how this goes. So
one thing I've been thinking about trying to do on here, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it. The only reason why I bring this up is because the Rebel 100 and the Rebel 100 Rye was part of it. Basically, do a bourbon and a rye with a cigar, and we'll kind of see whether the rye or the bourbon goes better with whatever cigar we decide. You got the Rebel 100 bourbon, the rye. You got Wild Turkey, whether we do the 80 proof or the 101 bourbon and a rye. Mm-hmm. You got Old Forester 100 versus the 100 rye. So there's a few out there, and I know there's a few more out there. So we could do a little segment on that. And we could even keep the same cigar. Each of us would get like a 5-pack of. Yep. I don't know, like a League of 9 or a West Tampa Black or something that we all like, and just do like a segment on, or JC Newman or something like that. Do a segment, a couple different ones with the same cigar, and just see whether it works better with a bourbon or a rye.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea, and it's funny because I was in the store and I almost grabbed the Rebel 100 Rye to do a 5, blind sample and throw that in there just to kind of screw with you guys and see if you could, but I know the Rebel Rye is so much different. It's one of the most herbal ryes, like herbal budget ryes that I know of. And so I knew that would kind of be the outlier. I kind of wanted to keep it all the same. So, but that would have been fun to throw that in there.
When I was getting into beer the other day, it crossed my mind that you threw out like a Pennsylvania / Maryland rye showdown sort of deal, because I got that like rye grainy note, which I get on a lot of like that Pennsylvania style ryes, which I like. And then I started going through the other ones, and there was, I think, one other pour had a rye note on it. None of the rest did, but that was a good.
I figured this would be a good one for me to send out as my first blind to you guys, because I figured you guys would think I was sending out ryes because that's my favorite style, and definitely wouldn't think I'd be sending out wheats because it's my least favorite style. But we got 4 wheated bourbons, so I think that was a fun one.
Now, honestly, when it came out, first 4 samples, or the 4 samples, I looked around the bar to kind of see what it could be, and my first thought process was he sent out like a bottle and bond. So I'm looking at Evan Williams white label. There's the I can't even think right now, but literally like on the shelf had all like the bottle and bonds next to each other, and I'm like, I wonder if you sent those out.
Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of ideas, and that is one that I've toyed with. It just super price performer bottled and bonds, because we all have them, we all drink them, and
that's what I thought it was for some reason. But then I got into it, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, nobody ever really, I've done a bunch of blinds. We've been in groups that do blinds. Not many people send out like fucking $18 bottles to do blinds in. So I figured doing like those nice price performers, Old Forester, Evan Williams White, and all that stuff would be fun blind to do. But this just, like I said, I was just happened to be walking through the store, and it just, I saw a couple bottles with the same label, and I was like, oh, this would be a fun one to do. So
yeah,
I think it was a good one. But like I said, all of these, Rebel Bourbon is fantastic. Everything they do, the ryes, the wheat, everything Lux Row puts out in this lineup is awesome. And they're all price performers. I mean, with the most expensive one being $60, I mean, come on. I mean, these are fantastic. Everybody should have these these bottles on their shelf, at least one or two of them. If you can find the small batch, I really recommend that one.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody will be able to get that a little bit higher proof at 110, $30 or $35, I think I paid. I mean, that one, like I said, is the price performer winner for me. Just it steps up a little bit proof, a little bit more flavor than the Rebel 100, and it's a little bit over half the price of the 6-year, which the 6-year is phenomenal as well.
Yeah. The 100, I don't think, ever since I tried it, I don't think I've gone a day without it on the shelf, except for maybe a couple days after I killed the bottle before I went to the store to pick up another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that small batch reserve or whatever it's called, and then the what was it, the Kyle Busch ones, those two are definitely, after knowing everything, like I said, B and C were right next to each other, but you got $60 versus that $35. I think that B jumps it just in that. But they are very similar.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's the Kyle Busch one just has so many like different notes in it compared to the other ones.
It is very different, and that's why, after I found out that it was not a single barrel and it was actually 30,000 bottles, I'm kind of curious. I wish there was more disclosure, and there might be, and might have to do some more research on where how they got this release, because it is definitely off profile, but for them to get that many barrels off profile, whether they blend it to it or what, but I don't know. It's a good one. It's cool for for $50 to get a quote unquote single barrel, whether it is or not an actual single barrel. It's definitely off Rebel's profile, but it's fantastic. So I'm not knocking. I keep saying, we keep alluding to 30,000 barrels and not being really, or 30,000 bottles and it not being a single barrel. But either way, whatever the fuck it is, it's damn good. So I'm not knocking it at all. And for $50, it's a buy. I'm definitely gonna replace this bottle while it's still on the shelf in Virginia because I just killed it.
So I'm looking up on breakandbourbon.com, which I think it's the press release that they put out for this one. And it says, Kyle selected every barrel for this one-of-a-kind release with the guidance of master distiller John Rempe. Seeing this is a 30,000 bottle release, this adds a lot of single barrels.
Yeah, I mean, I think my math is right in saying if you get 200 bottles per barrel, which I think is a rough average high yield, I guess.
Yeah.
It's 100. That's 150 barrels, right? 150.
Yeah, you're looking at 150 to 200 barrels, depending on.
Ain't no fucking way Kyle Busch tasted 150 barrels, and then he selected
not only that,
so he must have had to deny some. If
not only that, what was the proof on this one?
108. Yeah.
So you got to think they might have proofed it down a little bit too.
Yeah, you would think so, and there has to be a bunch of dud barrels in there that just get batched into the Rebel 100 $20 bottle. So you telling me Kyle Busch went and tasted like fucking 300 samples at Lux Row? I doubt it.
I've had a few different of the Rebel single barrel, like the Rebel Distillers Select, whatever the single barrels that they let store and stuff. Yeah. And they're at like 120, 122 proof. So maybe he only drank through 100 and they proved it down. Still, it sounds like a fun weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch NASCAR anymore, so I can't kind of make a joke, but maybe he was drinking before he started racing one day or something.
I don't know. He's got to turn left, I guess. So, but yeah, no, whatever his influence was or involvement was, he did a damn good job. Not, like I said, not knocking this. We love the Rebel brand. Love Lux Row. These 4 bottles are fantastic. They're all priced right. So keep up the good work. RebelBourbon.com. Check them out. Go out.
Yeah, it's definitely if you want to call him a celebrity since he's an athlete, or if you want to call him an athlete, however you want to, it's up there with one of the better celebrity-esque whiskeys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, and that's a very good point. This can go thrown right into celebrity whiskeys, and if that's the case, then this is way up there. Because most celebrity whiskeys don't really hit the mark. I think they just put their name on shit and they don't know what they're doing. This one, whatever his involvement was, this is a damn good one.
I'm gonna say, whether you like it or not, the the Blackened series, I think the Blackened and the number 9 from Cedar Ridge, I think are the best, just because the guys from the bands and whatnot were actually hand in hand with what they wanted to taste. It's not just like a single barrel release, kind of like this one, or the what's his face with Jack Daniels. He actually, those guys had actual hands in not distilling, but what they wanted the taste profile to be, and all that stuff. But that being said, if Kyle Busch actually drank through 100 barrels or whatever it was, he picked at least one good one.
And if he did drink through 100 barrels, even over the course of a year, I wish there was a YouTube series on that. Like, they should have done that, because I would watch that. That would be fantastic. But just saying that with the celebrity thing, kind of can foreshadow, we do have some pretty good celebrity ones coming up. We're going to do an episode with 3 country music artists.
Yep.
I got some bottles from, I think it's Alan Jackson, Dirk Bentley, and Eric Church. They all have their own whiskey that they are affiliated with. I sent samples out to the guys, and I like all 3 of them. So we'll see when we have those.
I've had was that the Silver Belly? I think it's called the
Silver
Alan Jackson.
Belly is Alan Jackson.
I've had like one of their original releases. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Row 94 is Dirk Bentley.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
And Gypsy is Eric Church. And,
I haven't had that one either.
I like all of them. I was kind of surprised. Like I said, I'm always surprised when there's a celebrity attached to a liquor that I like it. All 3 of these I liked. So, you guys got samples. We'll have them on, and we'll let you know.
We'll talk about it when we eventually have that on. But knowing what the Row 93 and the Gypsy, where they're sourced from or where they're picked from or whatever you want to call it, I have a feeling that I'm going to like them.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll dub in some country music just to piss Adam off too when we do that episode.
Yeah. But I think that concludes this episode. Nice little short episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. Well, thanks to Paul for this blind. We have another one coming up eventually. I sent some samples out to the guys for a blind. That should be another good one. It'll be another 4 sample blind. Remember to drink your whiskey, not drink your cigars. Drink your whiskey, smoke your cigars responsibly. Keep an eye out for each other. There's been some fucked up shit, especially the last couple weeks. Keep each other in your thoughts and don't be an asshole. A lot of assholes today. But until next week, cheers. Bourbon Beards and Belvederes is produced by Adam Bolden, Paul Rousseau, and Jerry Ullman. Edited by Jerry Ullman. Music by Ryan Johnson. You can find all of our links on our website at bourbonbeardsandbelvederes.com and at beacons.ai/Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. As always, enjoy your bourbon and cigars responsibly. Cheers.